I'm Kyle Russell with Arkansas Wushu. Welcome to my channel. This is day 28 of the 30-day challenge between me and Roger Grimes from Showdown 1197. If you don't want to look for that handle, you can also find them in my playlist. I'm a little bit late today, so we're just going to cover two self-defense techniques. I'm going to choose two, or I have chosen two, out of Green Belt. I want to start with striking ASP B, or advanced striking ASP B. We learned striking ASP B back in Orange Belt. I have a video up on it, and I may do an entire Orange Belt test here soon, just so that's up and people can see what it looks like. But looking at the original striking ASP B, we trap, step in with our right foot, do a middle knuckle punch to the solar plexus, do a hammer fist to the jaw, and then shot back. The only thing that remains the same is the first punch. We still grab, we step in, we punch. But now I want to come up in between the arms and around the outside of the elbow as we step in to hopefully hyper extend or lock it. So from the strike, we're coming up around this arm and strapping it here so that they can't get away. It may not break, it may not hyperextend, but at the very least, we're keeping position for a minute. Right after we get into that position, we're going to step back out with a back fist to the back of the head. So it's here, come out, come back, and then we're going to chop back again. Middle knuckle punch, wrapping, come back with a back fist, and chop. Right after the chop, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our hand upside down and use this hand to push on the chin. What that does is after the chop, it reaches back around and grabs the back of the head. So what that hand is doing, so here to here. The other hand is pushing the chin on around, so I'm basically pulling from behind the head while pushing the chin forward. That way they turn around and their back is to me. Because if they don't turn their body, the neck will eventually break. If the head goes that way, the body has to follow it at a certain point. So I come in, hit the back of the head, hit the chop, grasp, you can grab hair if you need to, pull and push on the chin. Then you're going to step up into that rear naked choke lock. Do want to take a second to go over that rear naked choke lock so that you get it right. I did it wrong all the way up until brown belt. No one caught it. Usually whenever I did it before, I'd come around and use my forearm as kind of a bar, grab the bicep, and put my hand on the back of the head and push forward on the back of the head, pushing their throat into that bar, and it would make a pretty effective choke. But it's not right. It will work. It takes longer for them to tap out, and it's an air choke because we're cutting off the esophagus. Years later, I learned how to do a rear naked choke more correctly. This doesn't bar across the throat. In fact, it comes all the way over to the carotid artery on this side, while the bicep cuts off the carotid artery on this side. And the throat goes more into the elbow joint, which usually puts my hand up on my shoulder instead. And then from there, it's that staying pushed down. What that does is it's no longer just an air choke. It's cutting off both carotid arteries so there's no blood going to the brains. Now it's a blood choke instead of an air choke. And if we can push that throat into there, we get blood and air. And people will tap out in half the amount of time if you fix that on your rear naked choke. Comment, let me know if you've been doing it wrong too, because I'm not gonna lie, I did that wrong from the time I was probably 14 till I was probably 19. It took a while before someone caught it and said, hey, you're not doing that right. Okay. So let's do that 5 times. 1, grab, step in, middle knuckle punch. Come up in between, around, hyperextend the arm, step out, hit the back of the head, chop back to the throat, turn the hand upside down to grab the back of the head, push, stepping in, push on the chin. As you unwind that, follow that on around straight into your choke. 2, and 3. Okay, let's move on to another technique called slashing wings. Slashing wings is very similar to thundering hammers. I covered that one the other day. Rogers covered it. It's just a little bit of a variation. So you remember how in thundering hammers, I did it with stepping a soft hand block with a ridge hand, and Roger did, I believe, with a forearm strike. Just pretty close to the same thing. And slashing wings, I want to turn that hand upside down and bring it across the temple instead. So we're not hitting low, we're hitting high. After we hit the temple, we want to come back. Left hand becomes a vertical punch. Right hand becomes a back fist. Left hand's aiming for the kidney. Right hand is aiming for the temple. So it's step in, push, come across with a hammer fist, come back with a back fist and a vertical. After that, it's just like thundering hammers, except for instead of the hammer with a fist, it's slashing or a chop using the open hands. Both are aiming for that carotid artery. All right, so look at that technique. Step up, soft hand block, hammer fist through, double strike back, 2 chops. And that's the end of the technique. So let's do that 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, that is it for today. I'm sorry about the short video. I got held over at work and didn't have a whole lot of time to film. I'm scheduled to work late again tomorrow, so I'll see what I can do about getting the video out earlier. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.